Today's guests are Whitney White and Marc Hemphill, the powerhouse duo behind SUNDARA Medical in Bluffdale. They are leading a bold charge against Utah's broken healthcare system, blending primary care, functional medicine, and advanced wellness with zero tolerance for insurance-driven nonsense. Let's dive in. Hi, you two.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Doing well, thank you.
So glad to have you here. Okay, let's just kick things off with, can you tell us what SUNDARA Medical is and what makes it so different from a typical clinic?
Yeah, so I'll start off. SUNDARA means beautiful, lovely, well, right, and noble in Sanskrit. And the reason it's so important to us when we were creating this entire mission and vision is we actually are entrepreneurs. We're not medical professionals. And we saw a need, basically. Like, we saw this broken healthcare system, and we don't know who put us in charge of change. But, you know, I came home one day and I told Marc, after dealing with so many health struggles personally, I was like, we need to do something about this. And so he's like, what? Yeah, we're going to start a medical clinic. So we started SUNDARA, and SUNDARA.
What a beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you. It's always been, I read it in a novel about 5 years ago, and it always stuck with me. Like, that name needs to be used for something in the future for us, you know? And so anyway, SUNDARA Medical is all about that beautiful, lovely, well, right, noble vision of healthcare, where we're not just going to treat you symptomatically, send you out the door. We're going to bring you in as a guest in our home. We're going to treat you, look at the whole picture from the entire lifespan.
And get into the roots.
Get into the root causes, get into solid fixes. And that was something that always bothered me in healthcare, was you go in, and this isn't everybody's story, you know, I'm generalizing, but for me personally, I would go in, I felt like another number in the system. You walk into a clinic and it's sterile, and nobody's like greeting you very personally. Like the other day, you know, I'm pregnant, and so I went into a healthcare clinic, and I walk up to the front desk, and she doesn't even look at me. She's just typing on her computer, just, you know, and I'm like, like, I'm here, I'm standing here, before she even greeted me. And so anyway, you know, just from that guest experience, from the moment they walk in, the friendly environment, to the moment they leave with a solid healthcare plan for their life, you know, and feeling that advocacy, that's so important to me. So anyway, that's a little bit about what SUNDARA is, what it means, and who we are. So
it's so true. Like, we need more personalized services, people these days. I mean, it seems like it's a lost art.
It seems disconnected.
Yeah.
You know, there's this, and we call it, what do we call it? We call it siloed healthcare. It's very fractionated, right? You see a lot of people going into specialties all over the place, and then you have to be referred to every kind of specialist under the sun. So then you're being bounced around from place to place to place. Imagine having a place where you could go and say you have some primary care needs, right? Where you got to do a physical exam, and then you find out in that physical exam your hormones are super low. So then you get some hormone therapy to help with that. But then you realize, like, oh man, like, I deal with chronic migraines all the time. Oh, we have a MyoPulse and AccuScope pain management device that can help. That's alternative therapy, right? Like, so it's just, you can be treated all under one roof, you know, for anything that you have.
Or we could just prescribe them a pill.
Yeah.
That's the easier method.
Which is kind of the history of, like, our healthcare, right? It's just like, here's a pill, hope you feel better, see you in 6 months.
Right. And that's the thing, again, going back to that fractionated healthcare, right, Marc, is like, you know, when people, they're expecting to just be seen in 7 minutes, slapped with a medication and out the door, you know?
Yeah.
And you had an experience like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's like you walk in, and it's like you just are there to get treated, and you get what they're giving you, and you walk right out the door, and you don't feel like you've accomplished anything in your healthcare or your journey.
You're just a number.
Yeah.
You're just
and then
a number.
with her, she's had, you know, she was a bearded lady. You know, she was.
I still am.
PCOS.
I grow a thick
happens.
beard. I grow a better beard than Marc. And for those
that's
who can't
impressive.
See, yeah.
Because Marc has a great beard.
He's got a
wonderful
beard.
It's a little, untrimmed right now, but it's good. Yeah, but she struggled with that for years, and it's like no one really had like a pinpoint on what was the issue with that. And she's always been she's been bouncing around from doctor to doctor trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And that was one of her big things with it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that was probably like the moment, or like series of moments, that made you say, well, we need to build something radically different from the traditional healthcare system. I imagine like that was it.
Yeah. So Marc and I, we own a health supplement company. And so we've always been very passionate about health. So when I came home after a really horrible, okay, let me back up. I lost 175 pounds. I was 325 pounds at my height. And I realized there was a lot of mental health that went into that. I wore it as a bodysuit of armor to protect me from a lot of the hardship I experienced, in previous relationships and, even childhood trauma. So I just carried this weight, and it didn't help that I had a diagnosis, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, that helps contribute to some of those issues. And so I dealt with, horrible, weight issues. I dealt with the beard, right? I love saying that because I
dealt with the beard.
I dealt with the beard. I've been a frequent laser hair removal customer my whole life, but I've dealt with infertility issues. I've dealt with all kinds of like mental health, anxiety, and depression because of my body image, right? And so when I started to go down this journey of health and I realized everything was fractionated, I was constantly in doctor's offices and nobody spoke to each other. There wasn't ever an advocate for my health. And, you go into, I would say the best experience I ever had was maybe walking into a med spa where they gave me a glass of water,
Yeah.
But that was it. Like, there wasn't really an experience where you just felt genuinely cared for. And so my background is in customer experience and software. And so when I came back, I'm like, we need to design a system where you mix a spa-like atmosphere with like a Ritz-Carlton experience and then top-of-the-line medical innovation.
There you go. We've needed that all along, and you created it.
And that's what we did.
Yes.
And so anyway, I'm going to let
And it's
Marc.
not to say that like all doctors are bad. Like there's a lot of great
Sure.
ones out there that are, it's like Russian roulette, right?
Yeah.
Like you find someone that you love and you stick with them and you recommend them, but that doesn't say for the clinic as a whole. Like,
Yeah. The entire experience from intake to exit,
Sure. Sure. Well, thank you for sharing your experience because I'm sure people listening right now can relate and can understand.
Like going back, I'll cut back in. Going back to the PCOS stuff, dealing with infertility, I've been told my entire adult life by medical professionals, I can't get pregnant. Like it has been told to me.
Guess who's pregnant?
Guess who's pregnant? I am.
well, she went through in vitro. She was married for 10 years
Yeah.
and she went through in vitro
twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I spent $16,000 in vitro twice, didn't work. And so finally I was like, okay, I'm just going to let this go, but I had that bodysuit of armor. I knew I needed to release that. And anyway, so the whole concept behind SUNDARA Medical is working with the yin and the yang of the mental and the physical. So combining that with an elevated guest experience. So when you come in, we literally built the medical clinic ourselves with our own two hands.
Okay, I'm looking at photos she's showing me on her laptop. It's beautiful.
This is our reception desk.
It's so luxurious, but yet calming and not sterile, even though it's like white and pretty. Like there's emotion to it. There's calm. And it's stunning. Good job, you guys.
Thank you. I'm going to let Marc talk a little bit about this because this is so relevant to who SUNDARA is. We put our blood, sweat, and tears and everything we own, every ounce of penny we have into this mission and vision, and at the detriment of our own survival. Like we put everything on hold to do this because we believe so strongly that people needed something better.
To change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to actually ask Marc about too, is for someone walking into SUNDARA for like the first time, what are they seeing, feeling, or maybe like unlearning about what a clinic can be?
So they, with walking into SUNDARA for the first time, my whole vision, like I've been given the self-title of CVO, Chief Vibes Officer, and Visionary Officer. Yeah.
Chief Vibes.
And it's like I've always loved hosting parties and events, and whether it's a foam party or like lights and display and smoke and fog. So like I wanted to create an atmosphere where people just feel comfortable being. And that's through lighting and atmosphere and just feeling like you're at home. And I wanted our guests to come in. We call them guests, not patients there. And to come in and just feel like atmosphere full of laughter, people that are genuinely excited to see you, catch up with you. And the atmosphere with that is I created, LED baseboards all throughout the clinic. We can change the lighting based on the mood.
Cool, that's amazing.
We set up the venue, we set up the space to do a lot of events. Like she's going to be hosting a PCOS event here soon, and a lot of different medical events throughout the time. And she's a really talented speaker, unlike myself, but
You're doing great.
In the big atrium we have there, it's one of my many projects. I have a big grand waterfall where it's a 20-foot fall.
Okay, I'm looking at pictures now on your laptop.
Yep.
Stunning, you guys. That's so beautiful.
Right in front of that waterfall, we're going to put a stage and we're going to broadcast it throughout the whole facility. And I actually put the stairs on hydraulic hinges so they can actually be raised up to the ceiling.
Wow.
So create more space for the room. And upstairs is where our whole marketing engine is. That's where we're going to be doing all our video content creation and graphic design.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's bright, it's airy, it's cheery, it's white, like I said, but it's not like clinical feeling. It's comfortable. The design is beautiful. I love that. I saw the lights at the bottom that you can change that you were mentioning. It is like, that's what you want when you walk in somewhere. You just want to feel like relaxed and not tense. And I think that you've done the perfect job. Okay, so the services range from primary care to aesthetics. We talked about that a little bit, to even like ozone, blood, detox. Why was it important for you to offer such a wide range of treatments all under one roof?
I'll jump in on that one. Again, going back to my journey, selfishly, I designed a medical clinic to fix myself, right? So I always make that joke because ultimately, when, one of the biggest pain points in healthcare are people are so sick and tired of being bounced around from place to place. Like when you research, which is what we did to make sure that this was a viable business venture, right? We researched what are the top, we looked up top 10 pain points of healthcare, and then getting even more granular, what are the top 5? And one of the top 5 was people are so sick of the siloed healthcare. They were so sick and tired of, being told, okay, I can't help you with that. You need to go see this specialist and then this specialist.
Right.
So the reason why we do the primary care rooted in functional medicine philosophy, the wellness, the mental health, medication management, the aesthetics, is because when you come in, you meet with a provider you love at SUNDARA Medical, and you build a really good relationship with, that provider can then help you across your entire journey of, if you have mental health needs, if you have wellness needs, if you, which is weight loss or hormones, or even, we do EBU.
Pain management. Huge one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. EBU is extracorporeal blood oxygenation and ozonation. It helps people feel revitalized and rejuvenate. It helps people with certain chronic illnesses, like Eller's disease and things like that. So it's really powerful, and you have this one provider who you've built a rapport with and a relationship with. You have our receptionist who you've built a rapport and a relationship with. You have this experience where you can be treated from end to end and not have that siloed or fractionated healthcare.
Well, I think when, at least in my experience, sometimes it's like that game of telephone where, like, if you have a doctor here, a doctor there, someone here, someone there, it's like they all are supposed to communicate, but like at some point something gets dropped, something gets, that communication is hard to patch when you have it all under one roof, when everyone is talking and you're supporting like mental health, physical health, all of it. Like that's the dream, right?
It's huge. And, our providers meet every single day, talk about case studies, talk about things that they need to collaborate on, because guess what, guys? Doctors don't really know everything all the time, and they have to look up things. They have to have a series of people they can lean on to help people with complicated cases. And, for some people that might seem scary, but for me, that seems awesome. Like I would want some of the best collaboration efforts to be going on my behalf, which has happened at my clinic trying to help me.
And I'll touch on this, like she's mentioned this connection of dots, right? So it's like we have a patient concierge. You come in and you have an issue or something that's going on in your life, and we can't do everything. We can't deliver babies, apparently. I just found out. So
that's not recommended.
We have a bed with stirrups. I was like, well.
Maybe it could be.
I mean, Marc can do it after hours.
Yeah. I offer discount Botox after hours.
Just FYI.
Yes.
So Chief Vibes Officer right there.
Yes. So they keep me away from all the equipment, but we have a patient concierge that's assigned to each person when they come in. So like if you have to be referred somewhere else for a specialty case, you don't have to worry about like, oh, I need to get my MRI from over there. I need to get my scans from over there.
That's a good point. All of your charts sent over. Yeah, that's a lot.
So that creates a full picture of what's going on, and you don't have to go around and connect the dots yourself. And that's one thing she had to do a lot back in the day, and it was painful.
It's a lot of work. When you're trying to figure out your health and you're piecemealing everything together, trying to get your lab results, from this place and that place.
It's so tiring.
It is. Mm-hmm. So we created that quarterbacking system where, we have somebody assigned to you as a guest in our home. You're assigned a guest concierge, and they help you coordinate all of those efforts and getting that full picture brought in. Or if you have, say, diabetes or cancer, they help make those referrals and coordinate all of that care with them. And so anyway, it's basically just like a red carpet service.
That's phenomenal. Okay, can you break down a patient story or case anonymously, of course, that shows how your approach really changes lives?
In a funny way, like my pregnancy, is kind of a testament to what we're trying to prove here is, it's not, hey, come see us and you're going to get pregnant. That's not what it is. But it's when you're looking at things not through a fractionated lens anymore, you can connect the dots better. And he always makes fun of me because one of my famous, I don't even know if it's a famous saying out there, but I say it all the time. What we're trying to do is build connection in an increasingly disconnected world. Mm-hmm. And that is included in healthcare. You've got these dots that are disconnected and you need to bring them together. So you can only do that and make huge strides in your health when you have the full picture. So anyway, I digress. Going back to your question, a patient specifically, when we were thinking about this, we have a young girl who's come in. She's probably 15 years old, and she comes in, originally because she had horrible cystic acne. And it was causing her a lot of distress. And so she came in for more of our aesthetic side, because we have a bunch of different lasers that do some really cool things, one of which is called the clear skin. And so it really helps clear up systemic acne. But what happened was she gets in and, oh my gosh, we need to look at a bigger picture here, because there's a little bit more going on behind the scenes. We run some labs. We understand what's going on a physiological level. Again, getting to that root cause, right? So we do this with this person, and we're helping her on the aesthetic side with the laser, and then also the skincare. But then we're looking at her biological levels. But then also there was some scar revision we needed to do, because there's some mental health stuff going on as well. And so this is a typical experience when you come to SUNDARA is, some people might be like, oh, that's invasive. No. These people are coming looking for an end-to-end experience and for somebody to just help them with their needs, and we see this a lot. And one of the really, really broken practices in healthcare, when people come in, say they book a primary care appointment, we do accept insurances. We chose to do that because we know the environment we live in. There's a lot of people who will invest $300 every 6 to 8 weeks to go get their hair done, but they won't invest $300 to get their health looked at, right? And when I really break this down, it comes down to when you get your hair done, it's immediate gratification. You can see in the mirror, your hair is cut, it's colored, it looks, beautiful immediately. But with your health, it's a long-term investment. It's a long-term play. So, it's interesting because when people come in for that primary care appointment, they're going through so many things, right? They're just data. I don't want to use the word data dumping, but they're just, unleashing all of these things that are just burdening them. Yeah. And the problem is health insurance companies dictate the amount they will reimburse a company based on what you discuss in that visit. So if you're discussing, say, you want to, get your hormones looked at, you just feel fatigued, so maybe that requires some lab workup. You've got weight gain because you're just never have the energy to work out. There's all these things, right? But the health insurance company will only reimburse a medical company, for a portion of that. If you go well beyond what they cover, then they won't cover it. So you're doing all these free services, So it's crazy. It's just a broken system. Totally broken. As entrepreneurs, we just shake our heads, this is crazy. How does anyone make money in the healthcare field when people just need help? Mm-hmm. And so that's why we've designed the system we do, is because what we do is we go through and we say, okay, when you come in, this girl, she came in on the aesthetic side and she expressed some of her concerns. Well, she's covered under her parents' insurance, right? And so we meet with her, we go through things and we outline, okay, here is your cash pay pathway. And then here is your insurance pathway. And we take the time to educate people on what that means, because that's another pinpoint frustration in the healthcare world. Because
you just get a bill and you're like, well, wait a minute.
What's this for? Uh-huh. There's no transparency of pricing. That's probably the number one most biggest pain point in all of healthcare, was they're like, I pay insurance bills monthly, meaning my premiums cost $400 to sometimes $1,000 a month. And why am I being extra billed for this? There's no transparency there. And so at SUNDARA, we make it a huge point. And some people don't bite, they walk out the door and that's fine. But we have to educate people, because they have to know what they're getting into if they go down the cash pay pathway or the insurance pathway.
Very important. Okay, so you do take insurance. That's good. I'm sure that people are thinking, do you take health insurance? So you do. Okay.
Yes.
How do you stay grounded in science and evidence while also exploring advanced or unconventional treatments?
Ultimately, the biggest thing is having the right-minded people on your staff.
A good team.
Yeah, a good team. So our medical director, Her name's Tamara Broadhead. She is incredible. And she is like...
She's the forefront of medicine for
Yeah,
sure. Always staying up to date on things.
And not just innovation, but all the legalities behind things and making sure we're living in a world of compliance, you know, things like that. But also, she's not afraid to take risks, because if there's things that are truly helpful to people that, you know, are not backed by conventional medicine, we'll just, you know, have our lawyer draft up consent forms and educate people and say, look, we want to try this.
Sign here and we own you.
Yeah. Right.
Sign here in case things go wrong. No, just kidding.
You didn't read the terms and conditions?
But staying innovative is all about having people who are willing to be innovative. So all of our providers, they have been handpicked because of that. They're sick and tired of the shackles.
Well,
of
it's like a lot of
Yeah.
healthcare providers go to school, they get out of school, and that's their
That's all they
mentality.
know.
That's all they
Right,
know. And they don't really have the willingness to learn more and like evolve.
Sure.
So
And
Tamara's
so-
amazing.
That's how we stay at the forefront. And then how we've found our arrays of technologies that we currently offer, like, for instance, two of which there's one called stellate ganglion blocks. And stellate ganglion blocks are incredibly powerful in mental health. It's helping people with PTSD, depression, anxiety. And what it is it's injections between the C4 and C6 vertebrae in the neck. On one, you get two on one side and you come back 2 to 3 days later and get one more on the other side. And what it's doing is it's basically, it's using lidocaine to numb the stellate, and it gives your entire system a reboot. And think of it like, you know, things feel so heavy when you're dealing with mental health, right?
Sure.
Mental health
Yeah.
issues. And people feel weighted down, they feel exhausted, and every day is just a struggle just to get out of bed. Stellate ganglion blocks actually helps alleviate that pressure physiologically. And it's helping people, like, so much so that it's reducing the amount of medication they have to take, or even eventually getting them completely off of it after a series of injections.
Yeah.
So it's an alternative therapy to mental health.
That's
issues.
wonderful. I love that you've like combined in the mental health issue too, because, you know, like 10 years ago, we weren't talking about this
Ever.
and we have needed to, and obviously there is a need for it. So that's phenomenal that you have so many options.
And everyone develops some form of mental health. And
Everyone does.
people hide it better than some, you know.
Sure.
So
And I feel like that's especially an issue in Utah, where there's this expectation to live in a certain way. And, you know, I've talked to many people who've validated this, so I'm not just like spewing, I feel like, you know, false news or whatever. But, you know, I feel like this pressure people feel to live a certain expectation, you know, impacts people greatly on a daily basis. And so whatever we can do to ease their fears when they walk in the door, and then provide not just a pill for an ill, you know,
Yeah.
provide some alternative ways to boost their healing and their mental health and physical health, the yin and the yang, you know?
Sure. That actually goes into my next question. If someone's listening right now and they're thinking, you know what, I'm stuck. I feel stuck. I don't know what to do. I'm on that like treadmill of like misery, and they don't know where to start. What advice do you have for them?
Don't give up. Just kidding.
come experience the LEDs.
Yeah. Come see the LED baseboards.
Life changing.
Come see the stairs that raise to the ceiling.
I think it's important to like walk into a place and just feel at home and feel like you have a family, an advocate for you.
No judgment
Tell
zone.
about your mom.
Oh, like this is a big reason for me. You know, my mom has always come out to Utah. I grew up in Pennsylvania, part Amish. So like she has always come out here. She's like the kindest person on the planet, like heart of gold. And she has always said, you know, she has rosacea, she has varicose veins, like stuff going through her nose, just things that come with old age. And she was always like, I don't feel pretty enough to go into a med spa or somewhere to get some of these things fixed, because, you know, a lot of the girls are walking in there, it's perfect in her mind. And she's just like, I'm too old and I'm not pretty enough to go in there. And it just kind of broke my heart, you know, because it's like the lasers we have at our clinic, it's like zap away those in a heartbeat, you know, and get rid of some of the things healthily, you know. It's like, is that a word, healthily?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. It's great.
Doing great.
So yeah, zapping away those and getting rid of, you know, wrinkles and things that she's had in her life, like that was a big driver for me.
It was her treadmill of misery. You know, she hated looking in the mirror, and she was like, I'm never going to be pretty enough to go into any of these places to help me fix these things. And And your advice to her was, well, one, move back out here, like come
Yeah,
live with us. But two, this would be our advice to people like that, who's like, nobody's going to understand me.
Yeah.
There are going to be a ton of people out there who understand you and who genuinely care, whether it's at SUNDARA Medical or not. When you want to get off that treadmill and you want advocacy in your life, you want somebody to listen to you, because a lot of people do their own research before coming in, and then they try to tell doctors, and doctors are like, like, let's see, and they're not willing to hear and engage. Get off the treadmill of misery by coming in. And right when you come in, you'll see Marc's LED baseboards, right? It genuinely puts you at ease. But you'll get, greeted at the front desk with a soda and Pebble Ice.
And we have a full coffee bar, full coffee
Love
machine.
it.
Yeah,
We've got health supplements that we make that will mix in water for you that you can try. Like, you just come in and just be pampered, right? Just take the chance of coming in, get off of that treadmill by advocacy, by education, and by us taking the genuine time with you. And then also, that provider that you see will be the same provider through your entire journey, whether it's you need something done with your hormones, your weight loss, your, stitching up whatever, bullet wound you got, or your mental health. It's the same person.
That's nice to know. That's very calming.
After hours bullet wound care. Yeah. But yeah, I say, like, I challenge you to come in and see our place and, like, just experience it, because it's a different vibe. Like, if you've been to, like, a doctor before, which you have, it's like, what to expect.
Yeah,
and,
you
like,
do.
This one, this place, you come in and laugh and have a good time and see
from
the place.
those pictures and what you're describing, it's
and we're
totally different.
We're playing music. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the EDM band Odessa. Like, we're playing Odessa
absolutely.
when you walk in. It's just fun, upbeat, lively, and it's not focused on judgment or any kind of, like, sadness there. You immediately feel uplifted. And one of our little sorcery tricks is we pump good smells through the HVAC system.
I love that. I love that when you walk in and you're just like, all the senses are just like, you're just calm. No, guys, I'm so excited. I can't wait to come see it myself. I know that you're going to help so many, just by the way you're describing it, and, like, the no one's judging, no one's, you're there to genuinely help somebody out. Yeah. Which is what we all deserve. Where can we find you? Where's the best place to follow if someone's like, what, I think it's time.
I love it. So a few different things here. We are active on social media. So if they want to follow us at Instagram, it's at SUNDARA Medical.
And that's SUNDARA.
Yep.
Okay.
SUNDARA Medical. Our website is sundaramedical.com as well. So they can, go see our whole array of services on the website. And then, social media, we like to have fun. Post some of the most ridiculous crap you'll ever see in your life. And it's because we know that medical and healthcare needs to be brought back down to a human level of understanding. Again, we're not medical professionals. We are patients of a broken system, and we want to change it. And so anyway, they can follow us on social media. They can also follow us on the website. But ultimately, I would say give us a call, take that chance, get off the quote unquote treadmill, as you say.
And if you're driving by, we're right 20 seconds off the freeway. Like,
can people just come in for, like, a consultation?
100%.
They can walk in off the street.
Yeah, we have a whole body scan machine, so you can do a whole 360 body scan.
Hey, those are cool. I've read about those.
Facial scan machine where you can see underlying skin cancer. You can see before and afters of skin treatments you have done. So yeah, walk in, introduce yourself, and we'll be happy to take care of you.
Yeah, and we're right off of 146th in Bluffdale. So literally right off I-15 at the point of the mountain.
If you're in Utah, that's, people know where that is,
Exactly. And so you hop right off, and we're a big, beautiful, black, modern-looking building right on the corner there.
Oh, it's stunning. You won't miss it.
It's pretty cool. and ultimately, like, I would say the biggest thing is if you're just not sure what to do about your health and you're questioning right now, my challenge to you is pick up the phone. Our number is 801-410-1100. And you'll be greeted by a friendly staff, knowledgeable staff, and people who are eager in this entire mission and vision to help. Because that's literally every single person we hired is like bought into this vision of just being sick of the system.
You guys are awesome.
Anyway.
Changing the game here in Utah. Appreciate you both, SUNDARA Medical, Whitney and Marc. Thank you so much for all you're doing. I can't wait to have you guys back later on, and we'll hear more stories.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. And thank you for listening to another episode of Fresh Off the Set. Please rate, review, and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to freshen up your day, you can watch us on Fresh Living every weekday on CBS Channel 2 in Utah at 1 o'clock. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel, KUTV Fresh Living, and follow us on social media. We will see you next week.